here, not once have I heard him say, I'm sorry. Not once when you asked him this morning, what got you here? Did he say, I killed Rita Ravellette and this is how I done it?
Cedric Howard was convicted of first-degree murder for a crime committed when he was 16. His sentence eventually made him eligible for parole. 32 years later, supporters argued that he had changed while the victim's family questioned his remorse and accountability. Here's the complete hearing, exactly as it happened. My name is Dan. This is the Courtroom Files.
My name is Danny Barra, serving as your chairman today. My colleagues on today's panel are Mr. Tillis to my left and Mr. Ledoux to my right. The panel today at headquarters in Baton Rouge, headquarters staff, please introduce yourself for the record.
Deputy Warden Rochelle Ambo.
Reginald Admiral, classification.
Thank you. Our
Carla Williams, Sherelle, Chiquita McCord.
All right, today our remote location is Louisiana State Penitentiary at Angola. With the staff there, please introduce themselves. Sorry about that. Headquarters, all right.
Deputy Warden Ambo.
Go ahead.
Reginald Admiral, classification.
Thank you again. Today we're going to hold a parole hearing for Mr. Spencer Henry. Mr. Henry, would you please introduce yourself and full name for the record?
We have Cedric Howard.
Spencer Howard. Okay. Howard, would you please introduce yourself for the record?
Cedric Dwayne Howard, number 382491.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to give you a brief explanation of the process. I'm going to read some information into the record, ask you to verify it. We're going to give you a chance to speak and tell us what you did to cause your incarceration and why you should be released early. We'll get information from the warden and the staff. We're going to allow public supporters and public opposition. The DA will make a statement and we will have a parole interview conducted by Mr. Tillis.
Yes,
So
sir.
let's begin. Today, we have for parole consideration Cedric Dwayne Howard, DOC 382491, who was a first felony offender, was convicted of first-degree murder, and on 7/14/97, 5/2/05, and 6/15/17 was sentenced to death, then to life without parole, then to life with parole in Rapides Parish. Your parole eligibility date is 9/20. Good time date is not applicable, and your full term would be life. That information sound correct to you?
Yes, sir.
Right. All right, so you'll be the first one to talk. Tell us what you did to cause your incarceration and what you've done since then that we should release you.
I was originally charged with first-degree murder of Mr. Rita Ravellette. I have then returned my my behavior into an knackeable young man, and I would ask that the people of the board find it in their hearts to forgive me for all of my sins and give me a chance to help others.
All right. We have several people in support of you. So
Yes,
we'll
sir.
start off with number one, Carrie Myers with the Louisiana Parole Project.
Good morning, Kerry Myers with the Louisiana Parole Project. I'm here to let the board know that we are in support of Mr. Howard's parole. Mr. Howard, as you know, was 16 at the time of this offense. He has used his years, his 32 years of incarceration, to transform himself from an immature In fact, immature, trauma-informed child to a mature adult who has completed numerous rehabilitation programs, who has become a trustee, who is a student in New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary. He's received letters of support from family, from institutional staff. He has the support of Parole Project, and we understand fully what Mr. Howard's needs upon release would be. We've evaluated Mr. Howard. We have a plan, a very personalized reentry plan for him. He will get a case manager, a coach to speak to help guide him through his transition. We're prepared to house Mr. Howard in our program for as long as needed, or this board would determine. He has shown through his work during his incarceration, through his ministry, through his education, through his training, through getting his GED, his collision repair certifications, the anger management, living in balance, CPR, victim awareness, moral compass, the programs. We'll continue that. We'll continue that on his reentry with the very practical needs that will need to be met through technology and social norms, financial literacy and planning, the case management, the
It's just the internet froze up. It's fine.
I think he's frozen.
All right, it appears that Mr. Myers is frozen up. We'll come back to him.
am I back?
Yeah,
Okay, sorry. We may have some unstable internet connection, but again, just to sum it up, we're prepared to support Mr. Howard's transition for as long as necessary. We have a specialized case plan for him, and we would urge this board to consider his age at the time, his work during his incarceration, his reentry plan, and grant his parole today.
thank you very much. Appreciate your input. We'll go next to Miss Estella Deal, who's with us on Zoom, the offender's sister. Go ahead, Steve.
Good morning.
What would you like this panel to know? Go ahead and have your say.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Estella Deal. I'm Cedric's sister. And I'm asking and requesting that the board would grant his parole. He is a changed young man from my little brother that I did know. He has completed a lot of training there, as far as, like Mr. Myers was saying, he's been doing very well with the Biblical College, and I think he did try getting his driver's license as well, but he's not the person that he was 32 years ago. And I want to thank you for the opportunity of giving him a chance at parole.
Thank you very much. All right, we also have Howard Lavalley, a friend who is in support and like to speak on Zoom. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
Good.
My name is Albert Lavalley, and I first want to thank y'all for giving me a second chance. I left Angola 3 years ago, and I've been, taking care of pretty good myself and everything. And I want to thank y'all for giving me that second chance. I met Cedric probably 20 years ago as a kid, coming on death row. Cedric was a troubled young man, and I kind of took him in, and to kind of keep him out of trouble and talk to him. And Cedric has always, tried, but peer pressure was there as a kid. And to step for your wrong, try to do something right. And Cedric, did that. Just constantly came up the ladder. I did hobby craft. Every time I worked in the shop or whatever, Cedric made a way. Even though he had physical disabilities, Cedric always made a way to try to help me take care of something so he can, be productive and also, learn something new each day. I'm just in support. Whatever Cedric need to transition, I'm gonna be willing to give up something so that I can, help him out in any way that if the board was to grant him parole. I thank y'all for giving me that time to speak, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We also have in support Mr. Robert Lancaster, his attorney. Would you give us what you have to say, Mr. Lancaster?
Thank you, Mr. Barra and members of the committee. At 16, Cedric's life was, defined by crime, violence, and poor choices. He was a very troubled youth. Prison's been his turning point. In the packet that I submitted before the committee and the brief, I think presents issues that Cedric faced as a child with his family and the situations that placed him in. Bailey Clark, a student at LSU, is in the audience. She assisted in putting together that packet. But the cases that allowed Cedric to come before you, those cases from the U.S. Supreme Court, Miller, Montgomery, where the court determined that youth were different from adults, and the adult system needed to treat those youth differently. And one thing that it noted about youth in creating that categorical difference was that children are impulsive, they're vulnerable to outside influences, and they're often shaped by circumstances beyond their control. And that was Cedric's childhood. He didn't have stability. He didn't have guidance. There significant abuse, neglect, addiction by those who needed to care for him, violence, and also just a lot of disruption, movement back and forth. And none of this excuses the crime, excuses Cedric's behavior, but it does provide some insight into how a teenager kind of comes to believe that that's normal. That toughness, the streets are sort of normalized behavior. And that is the perspective he had at the time that this crime occurred. And that's the perspective that's changed over 32 years of incarceration. His life is really transitioned through education and faith, which his record in prison demonstrates. He obtained his GED. He's enrolled in Bible college. He's in his second year. Mr. Myers outlined most of Cedric's other programming, and that is who he is, the man that comes before you, 48 years old today. The Parole Project will be able to provide Cedric with all of the assistance that he needs, the services that ensure that the things that he's done in prison, which has set him up for success, will be carried through, and that he will be successful. The evidence, and I hope your interview with him demonstrates that he has matured, he's grown, and that rehabilitation has served him well. For those reasons, we respectfully request that the committee grant his parole today with the residency plan to the Louisiana Parole Project under whatever conditions you deem appropriate.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. We also have in support Adrian Hutchinson, an attorney who is in support on Zoom, but not speaking today. All right. In opposition, we have Sharon Yarborough, a niece of the victim. Would you please proceed?
Morning to you, members of the club. My name is Sharon Gina York. Rita Gina Ravellette was my father's sister and my loving aunt. My aunt was murdered by a rotten bunch, a gang of mean, hateful guys, planned her murderously and for money. And as part of that gang activity, I know that you all know who, why, when, how all these guys murdered my aunt. It's heartbreaking for me to speak on that subject. And so I'm going to skip that one. I would like for you to know that how this murder hurt myself, my husband, my children, and who were very close to their great aunt. I went through mostly therapy for many months. A medical doctor insisted that I get therapy. My insurance didn't cover the therapy at all. My daughter and my son also had to seek therapy. My son was with the offender police officer, and they moved a heavy piece of furniture from some that the gang had put in front of the bedroom also. My son standing like my phone, but murder was used to body and seeing me loving aunt lying there in the closet with blood all over me. Very much. Me, my husband, and I given the defendant court hearing for each one of these gatherings. I want you to know that this murder is not only broken our hearts, not only made us fear to go out and not knowing who had murdered our beloved aunt. These families were very hard to get through. Did not get to see my aunt because the funeral home would not open the casket. So we were not able to tell her goodbye. We couldn't touch her hand, tell her how much we loved her. It was hard to stand behind the closed casket and feel the tears rolling down your face and not to see them. We have been to every court hearing for all of these hateful guys to make sure that the district attorneys meet what our wishes are. As Cedric Howard says, he asked the judge to give him the death penalty because he didn't want to spend life in prison. It's a shame that now Cedric Howard is asking for parole. I'm begging you, as members of this board, to not give him parole. I ask our God to please send my loving aunt back to us. She didn't have a chance to come back to us because Cedric Howard and his gang buddies saw to it that she would never see us again. I thank you, borough members, for this opportunity to speak here today. And I pray that you will deny Cedric Howard's request for parole. He has no more.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Ms. Melissa Phillips in opposition, a great niece of the victim.
Good morning. I'm Melissa Phillips, the great niece of Rita Ravellette. I'm not the victim of this crime, but I have become a victim because of the crime. In fact, my whole family, all 5 generations, are victims of Cedric Howard's actions. I'm here today to greatly oppose the law of Cedric Howard and to make you aware of how it's affected me. My sense of security changed. If someone can murder an 82-year-old woman who lived her life for Christ, same thing could happen to me. Extremely uncomfortable towards trusting strangers. I've been left with unanswered questions, anger, and a desire for justice in addition to sadness. Because of my decision to get a victim's impact statement in some of the trials I wasn't allowed to attend. Imagine having to read the autopsy report to learn what happened to your loved one. That's what I had to do. I endured many nights, sleepless nights, and experienced horror and terrors. I barely left my house because of fear. I was robbed of my sense of security. My first marriage failed because he was unable to comprehend the amount of fear I had. I believe my husband at the time was unable to protect me. I was scared when I heard the name Rita Ravellette. All I could see was the murder of Rita Ravellette in my old man, Ravellette. I couldn't get past those horrific thoughts to be able to remember her. I can only remember what happened to her. Re-victimized every time I had to attend a parole hearing, a court hearing, or anything to do with the case. And remember, there was 9 offenders in this case. So that leaves you numb for days afterwards. It angers me to know that these offenders have free education opportunities when I have to work many hours to put my children through college. Just believe that there's more rights for the offenders than there are for the victims. We should not rank wrong.
All right, we also have Mr. Stephen Phillips, a great nephew of the victim, Rita Ravellette.
Good morning. Thank you for your time. My name's Steve Phillips. I'm Melissa's husband, and Rita was, of course, her great aunt. I consider mine as well. I first learned about this horrific, barbaric crime, like most of the rest of our community did. Word around the neighborhood started coming out in the news media. It was one of the worst, most horrific crimes that we had ever had in Central Louisiana, probably to this day. I later became employee of the Bradley's Parish Sheriff's Office, where I've been 26 years. Going through the police academy, one of the portions of our training that we went through covered this particular case, and this horrific, barbaric crime. I went to investigations and I waited in there for almost 18 years now. First 8.5 worked sex crimes, crimes against children, home cases. The worst of the worst sat across from some of the people that make you ill just to mention their name, a little talk to them. And I've become a very good judge of character on an individual. And what I have learned with this individual right here, not once have I heard him say, "I'm sorry." Not once when you asked him this morning, "What got you here?" did he say, "I killed Rita Ravellette, and this is how I done it." Because he wants to leave out the part or review the case file, or Cedric's in particular, where he was he was convicted of it. One of the first to strike Rita when she entered her, allowed them to enter the home. He strangled her with a piece of wire around her neck. He's not going to tell you that. The people that speak up for him are not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that he also struck her multiple times in the head with what they first called a pipe, but they believe it's going to be a weed eater shaft that was recovered at the scene. I believe it was Dr. McCormick was our pathologist at the time. Any of the blows and lacerations from the knife wounds and the blunt force trauma to the head would have been more than enough to kill 82-year-old Rita, who was only there because she didn't make it mass anymore. She went to church. He's not going to tell you that. None of his people are going to tell you that. He cheated death because of our U.S. Supreme Court said we cannot give death to a juvenile. You cannot make me as a reasonable, common person outside of this whole group of no connection believe that he did not know at 16 and a half, almost 17 years old, that it wasn't right to come in with 9 people and kill Rita Ravellette for her money, for a gang initiation, another one wanted to car. It wasn't right to do. You can't tell me he would have had childhood and that made it okay to do these, and not just horrific, barbaric. And I assure you, I've worked some terrible cases. You'll hear from Mr. Terrell. He knows his son. But I was there before Mr. Terrell became AD. And I promise you, this is one of the worst. Never once have I heard him say, "I'm sorry." This morning he asked for y'all to forgive him. Never once did he ask for the family. Can you at least have a little mercy and forgive me? You know, not even I messed up, not even I'm sorry. All I can say is, through my experience, if you start off with murder, where do you have to graduate to next if you commit another crime? What's going to be is deterrent not to. He was given life, he beat life. Thanks to Miller, he gets life with benefit. He done great in church, let him mentor some people when they go down the farm. Let them do that. They talk about all those projects, but I've yet to hear this morning said, what projects did he do? He got his GED, great, that's fine. Oh, he did in 32 years. You go into the ministry, I can't tell you the years I worked in corrections prior to going to the uniform division, how many people caught religion when they went to jail and found their family, but as soon as they got out, they forgot exactly who they were. Because what do they have to lose? He even made a video about one of his buddies down in Angola that came by. Because he hung out with me in DC one, we was locked up there, waiting to go to trial and raise. I'm sorry, a little emotional about it. But it's not just this case, it's other cases. He was well old enough to know by himself or with a group of individuals. You don't kill someone, let alone someone that was only there because you didn't make it back. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We also have Mr. Philip Terrell, the Refuge Parish DA, who'd like to speak. Good morning, Mr. Terrell.
You know, it's going to be very difficult for me now to make and when you sort of a coaching argument. Y'all have read all the facts. I can't say to you all with the record. First of all, I'll agree with Detective Phillips that this has got to be the most heinous crime in here. Ms. Rita Ravellette was a defenseless 82-year-old woman was preyed upon by predators. Simple as that. If this perpetrator's trial, evidence was deduced that from one of the other participants' testimony in court that he says, this perpetrator, Mr. Howard, says, let's go ahead and kill that old lady and take a car. That's not an impulsive use, that's a murder. And while everybody who works for me, the vast majority of law thought that when the Supreme Court did away with potential death penalty for juveniles, we thought that was wrong. My community did second law. In addition to that, when Miller Montgomery came out, first of all, I point out that Miller Montgomery doesn't say he's entitled to parole, it says he's eligible. Parole should not apply to Mr. Howard. He committed the most horrible act on a completely innocent, helpless victim. He choked her with a wire, he stabbed her, he beat her with a piece of pipe. That's not the kind of person we need to have on our streets. I was going to say a lot more, but Stephen already said it all. And I think coming from him, y'all need to hear it again from me. We would just, law enforcement and the citizens of Rapids Parish would just implore you that he got the appropriate penalty the first time. But because of rulings that we disagree with, he got a break. Ms. Rita Ravellette never got a break. So thank y'all. I had a whole bunch of notes that I made this morning and last night, but Stephen said it all already, so I'm not going to waste any of y'all's time. Please consider not granting this offender any relief at this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We also have Wayne Yarborough, who's here in opposition. He's a great nephew of the victim, but he will not be speaking. What, do y'all have any input regarding this offender?
So a lot of the things that were already mentioned, I'm not gonna go into. He had a total of 60 DV reports. His last one was on 6/23/23 for Rule 10. Staff say he cooperates with them, he follows rules, he respects authority, and he has a positive attitude.
And a Rule 10 violation, is that a fighting violation?
A simple fight, yes, sir.
We also have opposition from the judge in this case. As you heard, the district attorney's office is opposed. The sheriff's office is opposed due to the violent crime against an elderly victim. The chief of police is opposed. Be remembered as one of Alexandria's most high-profile and violent homicides. We also have a retired chief of police who, Mr. Jared King, who wrote a opposition letter. We also have opposition from the Attorney General's office too. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis, so he's going to begin the questioning, and he will be the one to cast the first vote.
Good morning, Mr. Howard. How are you?
Excuse. So, no, the movie. Excuse me, board. Mr. Howard is asking for a brief break. He needs to run to the restroom. I know this is not typical, but he needs a moment.
Sure.
If the board can give us just a moment. Thank you.
Sure. All right, we're back to the hearing on Mr. Howard. Mr. Tillis was about to proceed with questions.
Good morning, Mr. Howard. How are you?
I'm fine.
Tell me something about yourself. What have you been doing the last 32 years while incarcerated?
Well, when I first came here, I was mad at the world for basically not hearing my side of the story. But as I've graduated, I became a better person. I've sat down and God has taught me the things in which I should have seen on the streets, but I was too thick-headed to understand. So basically I put myself into the getting to know God and getting to know my family better. And I've basically graduated all these classes that I've done, but I haven't put them first. I've put basically trying to get myself together first and trying to get others first, trying to get others better. And that has basically kept me into knowing myself.
Tell us your side of the story then. I got a minute.
I was doing the majority of the stuff y'all said, but as far as the actual crime I wasn't a part of, I basically had a conversation with some of the people that was convicted with me. I basically had a conversation with them, and about 2 weeks, about a week, something like that. And I got in a fight with a guy named Ricky Schwafford because he said that I was trying to do my business, you know? So I basically, if you want to say, I basically beat him up. So that's what led him into testifying against me in my trial, you know? But I'm not saying that he was wrong because it's all God's plan, you know what I'm saying? But I wish I would have learned beforehand that I can't do it my way and get away with the things that I was doing. So God had to set me down in order to make me listen. But in the meantime, I basically graduated with my GED with flying colors. I've done countless things like getting CPR's license, my faith-based, graduating being a part of NOBTS, getting closer with God, getting closer with the people in my life and even people outside of my life, you know. And it's just part of who I am now.
Well, tell me this,
Yes, sir.
which courses or classes you took impact you the most?
CPR, my CPR class, because it helps me to get close to people in whom I'm able to help. And it's like they need me, but they also need something else. And I feel that if I can give them that, then they'll be that much closer to getting where God wants them to be.
Were you at the time when this crime occurred?
I was 16, sir.
So what have you learned about this crime that was committed?
Sir?
What have you learned about this crime that was committed?
I basically learned that it was a tragedy, and I wouldn't want anyone to do that to my family. So I understand that her family is adamant about me staying here. But I want to assure them that if I'm going to be released, that I promised that I would try everything in my power to stop others from following into my footsteps.
What do you plan to do if released? Where do you plan to go?
First off, to get a job, to support myself, to help support my sister. She's been there with me since the start. You know, being with the parole project, I think they're godsend. I never knew anything about them besides others telling me about them, but they've been a godsend just in this little time that they've been here. So I promise to work hard and try my best to make them proud of me as well as the world, and to just do my thing, try to save people as I go, or help someone, because the world is full of people that needs help.
And my colleagues got any questions? Yeah. That fighting write-up that you got on March 23rd of 23, what are the details involved in that situation?
It wasn't a fight, it was an actual argument, but they wrote it up as a fight because they have no such thing as an argument in the rule book. And if I think y'all have a packet to where Mr. Stanley Green wrote about the argument in there. And we're now in the Bible college together. Both of us have been doing 2 years, and we're I'm not gonna say we're very close, but we are close. You know, he does his thing and I do my thing, but at times we collaborate with each other. You know, he helps me out. Mostly he helps me out, you know, but I thank him for that.
Okay, let me ask it to you again. What are the details of that argument? What was that all about?
We was arguing about the stories, about the young and the restless.
Over
So,
nothing.
over nothing.
And Chief Stafford Angola felt it was so serious over nothing to write you up. You didn't
Well,
deserve it written up.
I'm not gonna say that we didn't deserve it, but we didn't deserve the father's amount of punishment that they gave us.
Was that the first time y'all were arguing?
Yes, sir. We just got loud then.
There is.
No.
I read through your case last night. How remorseful are you about the situation that happened?
I'm very remorseful because that could have been someone like my grandmother, Miss Dorothy Lucas. Miss Rita Ravellette, she seems to be the average, well, the above average grandmother, the above average mother. And believe me, if that would happen to my grandmother, I would have the same kind amount of feelings that they have towards me. But I'm just asking that they put all that aside and they say that they love God and ask themselves, what would God do in a situation like this? I've been locked down 32 years. I'm just asking for a chance to get out of here and show them what I've learned.
Okay. All right. No more questions. The board is ready to vote. Mr. Dillis, you have the first vote.
My vote today is going to be to grant to the Louisiana Parole Project. I realize that 16-year-olds do some horrible things. 32 years has, I hope within 32 years you've learned to do the right thing. So my vote today is to grant.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ledoux.
Mr. Howard,
Yes, ma'am.
I see you're moving in the right direction. I really believe you're moving in the direction of restoring who you need to be in society. Since 2019, you've had 5 write-ups.
Yes, ma'am.
You are currently, if I'm not mistaken, the Novitz program is a 4-year program. Is that correct?
Ma'am,
The Bible College program, how long is that? You're a sophomore? You've
yes,
got 2.
ma'am.
My vote is going to be to deny your parole. I want to acknowledge that you have done some good work, okay? Your GED, going to Bible college, all of those things are really good. I am not prepared today to grant parole. And so my vote is to deny, but I don't want that to set you back. When you come back to this board, I would hope that you would not have had any write-ups since that 23 write-up. You've completed your Novitz, and today my vote is to deny.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. I vote to deny parole too, based on, you already had a break when you got off the death penalty. You have violent, extremely violent crime, strong victim opposition, and strong law enforcement opposition. But I will say, like Mr. Ledoux says, keep up the work you're doing there, because.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
What this means today is, Mr. Howard, that the parole has been denied, and this will conclude our business with you at 9:51 a.m.
So I do hope you enjoyed that video, and I'm curious to know what you think of the board's decision. So why don't you take a moment and let me know down in the comments, because I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to see the same board face a remarkably similar case and reach a very different result, click the Watch Next link on your screen right now. Ellie and I thank you for watching.